Hey everyone, I'm gonna see if this is going to work. Sh- We're gonna be going live very soon, guys. I'm just setting up everything here so that we can hear everything. Right. Shout out to you, Vets in Crypto. We're still waiting, so we're gonna be going live very soon. There's some few minutes. We're still waiting here. Can you guys hear me well? Please, thumbs up if you can hear me well. I'm always having difficulties with the audio, especially with Twitter Spaces. So I hope we're gonna have less issues today. And by the way, if you want to join on Twitter, don't hesitate. The link is in the description. And yeah, just join and we can ask your questions. So Vets in Crypto saying they can hear me well. Big Ted is also thumbs up. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody. It's been a tough week for me. A lot of things going on. So yeah, that's that. We're trying our best. We have Helios in the house. I just had him like 2 days ago, but yeah, seems like he's here again, which is great, by the way, because I think it's all about regarding fake crypto, which is.
Hello, everyone.
We're starting off.
I think we can kick off now. And
you guys can hear Plan A, is that correct?
Others as they join. Well, let me say thanks again for joining. Really looking forward to today's session. As you all know, we are going to be interviewing HELIOS, the HELIOS team. And there have been, of course, several interviews this week. Interviews with TitanX Market and HELIOS. And there have been a lot of golden nuggets that have been shared. I would hope that that this will provide us an interactive session and the opportunity to ask further questions as well. So great. Looking forward to it as mentioned. As usual, let us kick off with the TitanX distribution, as in let's look at the stats and see where we are. So I'm actually looking at the TitanX website, and just very quickly, liquid, we're at 21.74%. That's liquid. Staked, 27.73%. And the buy and burned is 33.73%. I think we would have all noticed the new addition, the BOT protocols section, which is of course built on TitanX protocols, and there's a really, at the moment we've got 16.53%. Now we've got two protocols that have launched already. That's Titan Legends, as well as and of course, as we all know, DragonX. So it's really interesting the way things look. And once HELIOS launches, and when HELIOS and TitanX Market, when both launch in about 10 to 12 days, I think HELIOS would be looking at launching around, I think, 15th or so, and maybe off by a day or so. But long and short of it, I think this is a section for us to look at and see whether the build on TitanX protocols are absorbing a healthy amount of TitanX tokens. So in terms of hard figures, liquid, we've got 10.5 trillion liquid TitanX. So that's TitanX in circulation. In terms of USD, it's just over 13 million. The good thing here, of course, is that the amount in circulation is definitely less than the when you look at the V1, V2 buy and burn protocols, which currently stand around, I think, 24, just over 24 million USD. Long and short of it, I think we should be, we definitely know this is healthy. It would be the conclusion that I think we definitely can draw from this. Staked amount, it's about 13.5 trillion in terms of USD amount. That's 16.8 million. The build on TitanX protocols is just over 8 trillion TitanX tokens, and the buy and burn is over 16.4 trillion, and that's over 20. I'll call it 20.5 million. So, and I'm actually only looking at I'm just going to leave out the rest, the LP fees burned and the penalties, as I think they're quite insignificant, so wouldn't be touching upon those. So long and short of it, the big ticket events are really looking good. The vitals of the protocol look good, and so I think let's see, day 100. Well, yes, it's a day 100 since launch. TitanX really looks really solid, and I think we really are onto something with this one. And so, long and short of it, really looking good where we are, and I think we can continue to build from where we are. Let me look at very quickly just the buy and burn pool. I looked at it just before we started. Let me just look at it again, just to bear with me. So V2 is, if you can round it up, you could say it's 14 million, just rounding it up, and so 14 plus just over 10 million. V1 is just over 10 million, so that's about 24.3 million, just rounding it up. Good, looking good on that front, and I think being used very efficiently, conservatively at this stage, which is really good. So you know what, folks, I think we have really come through the last week and a half of hyperinflation. We've come through it really, really well, and we are really looking good at this stage. Just looking forward and looking good. So good. I think that's where we are now. I would like to hand over to Mike and then Richie for their inputs. And so yes, Mike, you ready? Over to you.
Lovely. Hey guys, hope you guys can hear me well. We are also live on Twitter, by the way. Yeah, so for me today, well, I'm starting off. It's a special day. It's day 100 on TitanX. So 100 days ago, TitanX actually launched. So that's pretty. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So it's definitely it's been quite a ride, I have to say. And yeah, with all these new projects launching, it's even getting more exciting. So yeah, it's been definitely for me quite a tough week. I think it's been the busiest week since the launch of TitanX. I had three interviews lined up. I had for the second time Eric from DragonX, and then I had Dude from HELIOS, which we're gonna have again. It seems like it's like 3 weeks ago, but it's actually I think 2 days ago. So hey, Dude, I'm gonna hear you again. I was just interviewing you 2 days ago, but yeah, and yeah, and then we got yesterday Marek from TitanX Market. Yeah, I mean, it was his, I think, his first interview and probably my fifth. So I'm still navigating the whole process, and yeah, trying to, yeah, I think on the interview with Marek, maybe was a bit impatient in the first section or so, but I think later on is, yeah, it was okay, I think then. But nevertheless, I thought, I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, you got the info you needed, because at the end of the day, uh, some like we are all in the fair crypto, right? And I think the whole philosophy of fair crypto is giving information to everybody who wants to participate, and then they have yeah, well, the same cost basis or potential cost basis for everybody, like same as TitanX. um I don't remember exactly how many days beforehand, like the Telegram was opened, people could ask questions. I was in the chat as well. I asked shit tons of questions, and all of them got answered, and I was able to participate on day one with the same, yeah, same rules as the founder as well. So I think this is something very important, and because I mean, like you could see with other crypto, there's definitely the opposite of fair crypto, which is, I don't know, pre-mining, some backdoor deals. I mean, there is a lot of things which can be played in crypto. I mean, I think there is a reason why Jake chose the fair crypto route, because especially for people who are new and they don't know the game, how the game is being played. Oh man, there is so many backdoor deals and pre-mining. Like, I mean, it's yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I definitely shout out to Jake. The fair crypto is, I think, the way to go. Um, so probably just a quick update here, guys. Today is day 100, so I'm gonna visit Madune. You guys on Twitter, you are going to see everything here. So this is great. So the unique addresses, yeah, we got 13,470. It's yeah, slowly growing up again. So this is really great, and we can see in the last 7 days, yeah, we added 839. So that's like a 16.2% increase over the last 7 days. So definitely, the last 7 days we had an increase. The last 24 days, the growth rate decreases, but I mean, I guess probably yeah, like the days 24 hours before that, there was just a bit more. That's pretty much. But I mean, we can see on the seventh day, it was definitely some growth. The last 30 days, I mean, we're only 100 days in. So if you just check the last 30 days growth rate, obviously the first 60 days or the first 30 days prior to that was pretty much the launch time, or regarding like the biggest growth we had, which was yeah, I mean, you guys on Twitter on YouTube can actually see this. So this is pretty, yeah, I think that we're currently growing, and I think it's normal right now. I mean, we can see if we check the total e-spend starting minus by day, yeah, the last few days we can see there's definitely some ETH which came in. I mean, we have here, for instance, on day 98, 195 ETH. So I mean, if you just check the last 7 days or so, I think that was one of the highest ETH. So miners are getting started, which is great. Obviously, the biggest growth which we had in the whatever, I think from day 35 to day 63 or so. Yeah, that was definitely some ridiculous growth for sure. But yeah, we shall see what the market decides, and potentially we're going to have more growth. So let me jump to the Google Sheet. By the way, I'm working on this Google Sheet so that it actually appears on TitanXhub.com. But as you guys see, man, my time and resources are limited. Doing the 3 interviews and then updating the site, it's like time management and everything. I definitely, it's definitely a challenge. Let's put it that way. I'm not complaining, by the way. I mean, this is just how things are. So I mean, it's day 100. So probably just a quick update here. We can see the EA bonus, which is now at 7.17%. So it's slowly going down every day, pretty much. And the mintable TitanX per day, we are around 5.6 million currently, and we started off with 8 million. So as you can see, the mintable tokens per day is decreasing while the cost of mining is increasing. So we started off with 0.20 and now we are at 0.21. So yeah, I mean, those are the updates for now. I guess this is pretty much interesting. And today we got once again dude in the house, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm just gonna give it back for now, and let's hear Helios. Is he up already or not yet?
Yes, he is. So let's hear from Richie first, and then we'll invite Helios to come and share with us. Great.
No worries. Okay. I can only see Richie as a listener, so okay. I'll shut up.
No problem. Yeah, no problem. No, of course. This these things do happen. Richie, can you hear us? If you do, over to you. Okay, it seems. Hey, can you hear me? Oh, good. Yes, we can hear you now. That was wild. So yes, Richie, do you have any kind of opening remarks before we kick off with the interview? And of course, then open up the floor. But yeah, over to you. Yeah, I mean, not much at all, actually. So just kind of glad everyone's here, and we're just kind of doing what we're doing. And I told people, I mean, for me at least, it's going to be real boring for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's just not boring, and poof, So, but I just think, concentrating and focusing on the things that are underlying that really matter, what I mean? And that's going to be liquidity. So like, just keep your eyes on that liquidity. And that's the thing. And I see these people talking about whatever, and I talk my shit because I do like whatever, and I just get bored, and then I don't know, it's just get like that sometimes. And so, but the point is that see these people throwing these charts around and saying, "Yeah, look at your chart." That's like me, I'll just put it this way, like I got some really nice cars, right? Really nice cars, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But me and my wife, when we first met, we lived in a truck, right? I still have that truck. It's a 2003 Ford F-250 7.3 Power Stroke turbo diesel, right? We lived in that truck. We drove all over the continent in that truck. We drove all over Canada, Alaska, the United States, Mexico, and she looks pretty bad, you know what I mean? Like she's all banged up and stuff like that, but that turbo diesel will run forever. Just keep going, 250,000 miles on it. And, meanwhile, I got some great cars at the house, and I got this, I got that. I still drive that truck, you know what I mean? And so people could laugh at me and say, man, look at that guy driving that truck. He's broke, not knowing how much money I have or what I've done or what's going on behind the scenes. And that's like TitanX, bro.
That's like TitanX, and those who have ears will hear what I'm saying, right? I'm not just talking some shit. Like, this is serious. I drive that old truck, and they say, "Look at that raggedy truck." I don't roll around in Rolexes. I could buy Rolexes. I don't roll around like that. And I drive that old truck around. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't know, like, not just what's under the hood, but you don't know what other cars that person has. And so trying to take a chart and saying that motherfucker's wrecked, you don't understand like total value locked. You don't understand liquidity. You don't understand what's going on with these buy and burns. So, you know, two people can be driving a chart, quote unquote, that's wrecked, but you don't understand what they have at home. You understand what I'm saying here? You don't understand what they have at home. I mean, they're millionaires and they're driving an old beat up truck. That doesn't mean because they're driving an old beat up truck, you made an assumption. And it's funny watching these clown acts out here making assumptions about TitanX because of the chart. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Just keep your eyes on the total value locked and what's going on right there, because, you know, that's essentially, you know, or the liquidity, however you want to look at it. You know, it's $25 million in liquidity. And then it's going to be boring. You see it and it's sideways and we're playing around, and I bought JakeX coin and everything like that. And just kind of keep your eyes though on what's going on here, because the ultimate thing is it's a leverage play on Ethereum. And so if you have $25 million, 10,000, it's not even about dollars. You have 10,000 plus Ethereum. You know, the bottom line is, do you think that Ethereum is going to go up? And how much do you think it's going to go up? And then multiply that. And that's how much TitanX, you know, theoretically, it's an experiment, right? It could go to zero. That's theoretically what TitanX could do. And then the last thing I'm going to say is like a couple things about these projects and stuff like that. Like the projects are great, you know, some of them, right? And most of them. Down to just like what matters about the token is liquidity, because if you can't get your money out, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I've told it many times how much I got out of Hex, right? Well, I mean, on the flip side, I had 10x that in my wallet, $20 million USD, and I pulled 2.3 million over a little bit of time. Why? Because I wasn't going to pull all that money, because it wasn't the liquidity to pull all that money. And so I'm just going to say, like, in the token, the liquidity matters. And then with these projects, like, the thing that matters most about a project is the code. And so you better, you know that they got audits and everything like that. Barring everything's good with the code and the thing works the way it's supposed to work, you know, when I say to keep the main thing, I'm not saying like just keep TitanX. Like, and I'm not telling anyone what to do, bro. Like, when I talk shit on the alien coin, buy it all you want, man. I mean, I'm just saying what I say. I bought Jake today. So, like, whatever. And just what I'm saying is, when I say to keep the main thing, if it's liquidity bonded with TitanX, like, okay, Jake coin is liquidity bonded with TitanX. When it comes to stuff like that, like, it's still the main thing in my mind. You know what I mean? And so, like, I think these projects are great. I mean, DragonX. I mean, I think it would be foolish to not buy DragonX. I mean, or to convert some DragonX. It's going to be, if the ETH goes, it's going to go anyway. And so, like, HELIOS and, like, you know, all this HELIOS, you guys can tell me how to say it, but you know, Titan Market Watch, I think that's brilliant. You know, if the code works, that's awesome, man, because it gives people options, and options in life in general are good, you know. And it gives people options, and I mean, I would make every miner with that if the code works, because it doesn't take away from anything else, and it gives you an option to sell or trade or whatever, you know, take a loan against your miner. And things happen in life, you know what I mean? And so I'm personally, I'm just a guy, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I do think that the projects are great, and I like what's going on. And most people over here understand what's going on with the buy and burn and the liquidity. And so, I mean, I just, you know, like I said, I drive that old beat up truck, but you got a lot of money in the bank account, you know, and don't judge me by my beat up truck was the whole thing, you know, and don't somebody who's just judging a chart, which on a quick glance, yeah, I mean, it matters. Don't get me wrong. It's just, but, you know, to look deeper into it. And so I appreciate everyone here. And honestly, man, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I have the utmost respect for everybody who is here right now. And I'm going to remember everyone who's here right now because you guys are smart enough to understand what's in the bank account matters. And that's what I got to say.
Great, thanks, Richie. That's absolutely correct. Liquidity matters, and liquidity in the system matters greatly. I think at the height of HEX during the last bull run, I think there was about 20 million at its height. Now, I may be wrong a bit, but it was about 20 million or thereabout. And so even though people had on paper hundreds of millions or even billions, there was only 20 million in liquidity to cash out from. I think we should bear in mind that on TitanX, within 2 months, we've had anywhere from 20 to 34 million at one time in the buy and burn pools. That is something, and we're actually not yet in the bull market proper. We're still pre-bull. And so I think if we know exactly what we're looking at here with this protocol and where we are, I think we definitely will have the picture really of where we are and potentially in the future where we are going. The TitanX ecosystem has been turned into a massive workshop as it is, and these projects potentially, once fully built, will have a really positive impact on TitanX. And so just watch this space is really the word for all of us. I am really kind of looking forward to the next few months as well here. As we all know, I normally go through the TitanX watch. I'm not going to go through it in detail at all today. All I want to mention, as I usually do, would be mention the daily inflation for today. The daily inflation for today is 564.4 billion TitanX. In USD terms, it's 750,000 USD. In terms of user growth and minor growth, they're all looking good in the right direction. And so, good. I think on that note, I would want to again welcome the HELIOS team. And really, I think you've been crushing it in your interviews. I think your interview with Mike was really an eye opener, and I like the sincerity that you bring and the transparency that you bring to the discussion. And so I think really looking forward to today's discussion as well. I think we all could bear in mind, for those of us who are probably new here, there's no ICOs, no sacrifices, IDOs, pre-sale of any kind of pre-allocation of tokens. With all of these TitanX, these build on TitanX protocols. And so it's really following the fair principle, fair launch principles as Mike mentioned earlier. So I think on that note, I would really want to say, well, again, welcome the HELIOS team. Mike, I think you're going to run with this one. And then, of course, we're going to open up for the rest of us to then ask a few questions. Okay, thanks.
All right, dude. Once again, 2 days ago, we were live, and now we're live again. So I want us to start it off with just before you start jumping on HELIOS, let's start with the what is a fair launch crypto for you? because I'm seeing now some people might not really understand what that actually means, and maybe even other people start using just that word so that they can get they can get people behind them, but they're actually just not, they're not even a fair launch. Actually, they're just using that name to get followers and stuff like that. So probably let's start with that.
Hey, dude here. First, I just want to say thanks for having me, and I'm super proud to be a part of this community. And just going off of what Richie was saying, like, yeah, it's the chart matters, but what really is what matters is the stats that Mike Dean and Plan A kind of went over just a minute ago. And I'm super excited to, once Helios is launched, we can add that into the daily update of going through all those same stats. But anyways, fair launch to me, yeah, there's no angel investors, there's no pre-sale, there's no even stealth launch to me is not quite completely a fair launch. To me, a fair launch is there's advance notice and everybody has a fair chance at getting in on day one equally. And TitanX was able to do that. And Helios will absolutely do that. There's, we've been telling everybody launch is mid-February, but as we get a little bit closer and more confident with an actual date, we'll absolutely release that up front. And at least 3 days minimum, I would say, before, to give people a chance to get their TitanX ready.
Helios, dude, absolutely. I think this is something which probably as a community we also just need to repeat, which is what is actually fair crypto, because like it has to be somewhat clear what that word means or what's behind it. And so TitanX was the first one who showed us the way how to do it, we should definitely keep that as well. But anyway, dude, probably if somebody is currently new, he knows a little bit about TitanX, and he's hearing for the first time Helios. If you can give them a quick rundown what first Helios is, and then we can probably get into the deeper parts.
Yeah, absolutely. We're built on the TitanX protocol, obviously. We have a lot of the same mechanics as TitanX as far as you can virtually mine Helios and stake Helios. The difference being, instead of ETH, you're going to bring TitanX to the table to mine the Helios. And why mine Helios? We have our treasury and our investment pool that will continuously bring value to the buy and burn pool and the staker reward pools, even regardless of the amount of mining that's going on. And that kind of gives us what we call our perpetual burn. That's a fail safe. So even if mining slows down, the buy and burn is still going to be there, pushing the price and incentivizing miners to come back.
Yeah, that was definitely well said. So now let's push it a little bit further now, because obviously a lot of people who are listening, they maybe know already about TitanX. Now imagine a new person completely. He hasn't heard about TitanX. He's hearing Helios for the first time. Could you probably give him a little bit of an intro for a person who doesn't even understand what TitanX is and he wants to participate in Helios?
Sure. That's been a little bit harder for us. That's why we've been kind of targeting the TitanX ecosystem as far as initial awareness, is that TitanX people understand, and it's a lot easier for them to get into it. But if you're new, you really don't even have to know about TitanX to get to us. On Uniswap, if you buy HLX, you can buy it with ETH, and in the background, it's swapping the ETH for TitanX and then that TitanX for HLX. But you don't even have to know that that's there. Just, it's automatic. So Helios is virtually mined. You bring TitanX to the table. You set up 3 options. You're the length of your miner, the power level, and then a burn bonus amplifier. Excuse me. And every day your miner is running, it's earning Helios. So the longer you set a miner to run, the more Helios it earns you in the end. But obviously it takes more time. So that's kind of part of the game theory is how long do you want to let your miner run for? And then the power level is kind of there to customize how much or how little of mining that you want to do. It's really mainly there to save on gas fees so that you can get it set to exactly the cost that you want, and the reward that will come out will be the same percentage depending on where you go. And then there's the other half. So you got the mining, and then the other half is staking. And so stakers of HLX coins or tokens, they will be earning TitanX and ETH as rewards. And they will be released through our cycle reward pool, which there's 3 of. They will pay out on rolling cycle days. Ours is day 22, day 69, and day 420. So every 22 days, that pool will pay out 100% of what it's holding to HLX stakers. And then same as the 69 and our premier 420 day. That's, to participate, those are your 2 options, mining and staking. And then the inner workings of it is the treasury and the investment pool. Like I said, it's really what's working in the background automatically, and you don't have to know how that works to participate, although I highly recommend you do check out the white paper and fully understand the protocol before you participate. But it's not necessary. That's all done on smart contracts in the background. And that's what's going to keep the engine running. And also, if you like TitanX as a leverage play for Ethereum, we're doing the exact same thing. We are a leverage play on TitanX. So as the price of TitanX goes up, so does Helios. It rides that same train, and that goes for ETH as well. Whether ETH goes up or TitanX goes up, the price of Helios will follow because we have one single market pair, and that's paired against TitanX.
I think I like that summary very well, man. I think you can explain things very easily. So shout out to you. So I mean, I think some of you guys know I had created like a Google sheet for TitanX, where you see the payout cycles, the miner costs, and all the other info. I have created for Helios something very similar. I'm not completely finished with it, but yeah, sure. Probably if you guys wanted, I think I have posted it in the Telegram of Helios. I think just right after the interview. So you might, yeah, if you're interested, you might want to check that out. So probably let's go a little bit deeper on the mining part for people who are like fairly new and they don't understand it. So I have here like miner costs, mineable per day, and we have the EAA bonus, and then we have the mining burn bonus amplifier, and then we have the hedge rank bonus. So probably for newer people, that's a lot of words, a lot of words there, but we got our man dude here. He can explain all this to us. So probably start with the miner cost, and then mineable per day, and then the bonuses. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that should be clarified, because a lot of people get confused with the word mining, this is done virtually via smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. This does not require any hardware or any software that you've got to add to anything. This is just connecting your wallet to the website and setting your miner settings and submitting a transaction to the Ethereum blockchain, and that's what starts your miner. And then at the end of the time, so if you start a 10-day miner, after 10 days, that'll be ready to claim, and then you go back to the website, you click the claim button, that sends a transaction to the Ethereum blockchain, which will return you the newly minted HLX tokens. The cost of mining slowly goes up every day, same as TitanX, and that's to add a scarcity model to the project. So people on day one are going to be able to start miners cheaper than people on day 2 and then day 3, so forth. And that's designed to, like I said, add scarcity to the model. So 10 years down the road, the cost is going to be 4 times what it cost on day 1, and that's going to prohibit new miners coming onto the market and limiting the supply. And that's kind of what we're all here for, is limiting the supply of Helios, and so then the long game, everybody wins. Let's see, the mineable per day, that starts at the highest. So day 1 will be the most that you can mine per day, and then every day after that it'll slowly go down. And that's, again, same thing for scarcity. So the sooner you get into starting miners, the more HLX that you will earn on your miner. And then obviously the longer your miner runs, the more you'll earn on that as well. The burn bonus is something we added. That's so TitanX has the ability to, that's what we're all here for, is locking up and burning TitanX. So that's why we implemented it into our mining procedure. So say you start a miner that cost you 1 million TitanX, you can burn an additional 10%. So 10% of 1 million would be 100,000 TitanX. You have the option to burn 100,000 TitanX, which will earn you 10% more HLX when you claim your miner. And then when you do that, you're also earning rewards on the TitanX platform, because they have a burn bonus. And there's the burn pool, which will earn you ETH rewards. And when you start miners on the TitanX website, you will get a bonus TitanX on your miners as well, as for the lifetime of the wallet. And then also there's a 8% cashback reward for burning TitanX. And we've got that implemented automatically on our protocol, to where any TitanX that gets burned, we share that 8% reward with the users. So 4% goes to the user, and then 4% goes to the Genesis. Did I cover it? Did I miss anything on that?
No, so I mean, the bonuses, like, we have 3 bonuses, right? The EAA bonus, the mining burn bonus amplifier, that's what you just said, and we have the H rank bonus. I mean, I'm always like thinking people who are currently new, so maybe explain them a little bit about EAA bonus and H rank bonus.
Yeah, I don't know how I could have forgot about the H rank bonus. That's what everybody loves. The early adopter bonus, that's a simple, it's a 10% bonus on day 1. So all the day 1 miners out there, they're going to earn an additional 10% HLX on their miner when they claim it. And then every day after that, it'll slowly tick down to 0% over the course of 69 days. So if you're into the protocol in the first 69 days, there's going to be a little bit of a bonus for you on that. And the H rank bonus, again, it's the same mechanic as the T rank bonus on TitanX. Once you start your miner, you get assigned a rank. And so say there's 1,000 miners that have been started before you, and then you start your miner, that's your 1,001. And then every miner that gets started after you earns you H rank bonuses. And that's additional HLX when you claim your miner. And as we all saw with TitanX, people were earning more TitanX from the T rank bonus than they were from the miner itself. So these bonuses aren't factored in on when you start it as far as showing the ROI and all that. But it's a big factor in those things. And we will have the same thing. So you can expect to earn, as people mine after you, your miner's value will continuously go up.
Yeah, fantastic. I think, yeah, even for new people out there, I think this is somewhat a bit more clear now. Hopefully, this is my perception right now. But yeah, I think we have covered the mining now. So probably now for new people, let's see regarding the share rate. I mean, we're seeing the share rate is 420. And by the way, I think I mentioned this on the last interview. You seem to like number 69 and 420. Are you a fan of Elon Musk or what's up?
Aren't we all? I'm a fan of yes, I like the numerology, but I like the more fun numbers, and they they give me a different kind of inspiration than what Jake was going for.
No worries.
But yeah, the share price. So when you stake to earn the TitanX and ETH rewards on our platform, it's going to cost 420 HLX per share. And this is, you're not spending your HLX, you're just locking up your HLX for a set period of time that you set. And at the end of that period, you will receive all of your HLX back. But so when you lock up HLX, you receive shares in as a receipt for that, and the shares are what determines your rewards on the platform. So if you've got 840 HLX locked up, then you will receive 2 shares back. And that's not considering any of the bonuses for staking. Like you get up to 200% additional shares if you do max be 830 days. Basically 2 full cycles of HELIOS. And that rate of 420 per share will stay the same for the life of the protocol. And that's to ensure fairness in the system, no matter what day you come. It's, whether you're on day 1 or day 1000, everybody has a fair share at getting a piece of the rewards.
All right. And probably go a little bit deeper into yeah, I mean, what you're written is like if you were part of the share pool, you receive HLX and ETH. So where does the ETH come from? And yeah, probably that's the question for now.
Yeah, that's where the treasury comes in. So the TitanX side of your rewards, that's coming straight from the miners. Every miner that's started on the HELIOS protocol, 28% of the TitanX from that miner is going to the reward pool. And note that that's the same percentage that TitanX uses for their reward pools. So you can expect with the same amount of usage on HELIOS as you've seen on TitanX, you're going to see the same amount of rewards filling up in that pool. And then that's the TitanX side. The ETH side of things, that comes from our treasury. And our treasury receives TitanX from mining as well. So every HELIOS miner that you start, a portion of that's going into our treasury. And then the treasury will max stake all the TitanX that it receives for 3,500 days. When that 3,500 days is up, it'll restake it for another 3,500. So this is the treasury will never sell a single TitanX and will always be growing with every miner that starts on the platform. And then, so as this thing grows, the ETH rewards from the TitanX staking pool, we will get a portion of that. And with that ETH, we support the buy and burn function, which is kind of vital to the ecosystem, because that's what keeps the buy pressure on the token and eliminates some of the supply, adding additional scarcity. But then also the reward pools, it's going straight from the treasury into the reward pools. So you're earning now TitanX and ETH at the same time. And that's going to be an infinite, as long as TitanX protocol is around, we will be earning ETH rewards with it.
Yeah, that's very fun. That's fantastic. But I mean, I think on Friday, which what you also mentioned, is that part of the treasury will be going to in this investment pool. So could you explain what this investment pool is, and yeah, what kind of ideas you have it for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I look at the treasury as our fail-safe. The way the whole system works is when miners mine, they are feeding the reward pools and the buy and burn pools, and so the treasury is there to support the miners as it's constantly receiving ETH rewards. It's pumping that ETH into the buy and burn pool and the staking reward pool, supplementing the rewards and the burning. So even if mining on HLX slows down, that treasury is still going to be there perpetually burning HLX and feeding ETH to stakers. And then at a certain point, enough HLX will get burned to incentivize miners to start back up, and that'll kick the system right back into gear. And then as miners start mining again, they're feeding the treasury, which grows the treasury even more. And it's just an endless loop there. And so that's our fail-safe for Helios. But then what happens if TitanX rewards slow down and our treasury slows down? Well, that's where our investment pool kicks in. The investment pool is earning, so a portion of the ETH coming from the treasury feeds our investment pool. And then from there, it's up to the DAO, which is something completely we can get into after this. The DAO will determine how these funds are invested, and we are going to diversify the portfolio and create multiple treasuries out of this investment pool. And these treasuries will only grow larger as more ETH comes into the investment pool. It'll slowly drip into these treasuries, and so they will only grow larger, earning yield off of whatever investment strategy is decided by the DAO. And then that yield goes towards the buy and burn pool and the cycle reward pool. And so even if mining slows down on HLX, and then even if mining slows down on TitanX, we still have a source of funds coming from our investment pool that is not reliant on either of those two ecosystems. They're completely separate and self-sustaining, and they will continuously feed the buy and burn and keep the buy pressure going, which will then again kickstart the system and kickstart miners mining again and growing our treasury, and then that treasury growing and earning more rewards. So as you would say, the treasury is our fail-safe. The investment pool is the fail-safe for the entire TitanX ecosystem, because it's going to be bringing fresh ETH from outside of the TitanX ecosystem. And of course, the only way to get that ETH into HLX is by buying TitanX. So all of this fresh ETH goes into TitanX, pushing the price of it up, and incentivizing TitanX miners to continue. And then at the same time, adding HLX miners incentives.
Yep.
You can look at yeah, just you can look at it as like the zombie protocol, where it can never die. At the worst case scenario, it slows down, but the investment pool and the treasury will always be there, burning HLX tokens until its miners are incentivized to mine, and then it just kind of kickstarts the whole cycle again. And this is in a worst case scenario. The best case scenario is TitanX does awesome, which that's what we're all banking on here, and the value of TitanX goes through the roof over the next few years, and all that does is bring value to HLX, and we've got tons of miners mining on HLX. Our treasuries growing every day. The treasury's earning even more ETH rewards because TitanX is growing every day. And it's just an endless cycle. And again, the model here is every day it gets harder and harder to mine HLX. So that the scarcity model kicks in over time. And then over time, our treasuries are growing larger. So it's like supply goes down, the treasuries get bigger, and then you can kind of do the math on that.
Fantastic. So probably one question I have here is the treasury. When you do the max stakes, obviously you're gonna be fighting now the protocols, because I had yesterday TitanX market, which I didn't know actually that they are actually also gonna do something somewhat similar. They want some of that ETH, piece of that ETH. DragonX obviously right now is the one leading the pack. Like if you look at all the projects. So, what is your expectations? What kind of percentages do you think you're gonna have in the system?
Yeah, I think obviously DragonX has a great head start being the first protocol. And so it's scary to people to see how big their stake in the pool has gotten, but they have had zero competition up until these other protocols launch. And in my opinion, we will all get our fair share of that pie. There's no doubt in my mind that our treasury grows with every miner. It's not just relying on ETH rewards from our treasury to grow our treasury. This is every miner on HLX supports our treasury, and it grows larger that way. And I don't see any issue with us getting our fair share of that. And with any of these other protocols that launch and are successful, I see there's enough room for everybody in it. And with usage of all these protocols coming out and adding additional usage for TitanX, that's only going to add more demand to TitanX, feeding more ETH into their stake pool, which is giving more ETH for us to split as between all these protocols. So it's scary for people because, like I said, there's no competition out there yet. But once we launch, we'll quickly see that these other protocols will absolutely have a chance and get their fair share.
So one of the interesting part, I think we mentioned this on Friday as well, is if we go to app.titanx.win and check out the stats, which Plan A had mentioned in the beginning, the new section, the BOT protocol. And as we all know, like the TitanX Genesis had sent some TitanX to DragonX smart contract, and they did not mint. But what that meant was obviously they had a bigger share in the staking pool. So, are you expecting that Helios was also going to receive something similar?
I can't expect that. Obviously, that would be great for the protocol, but that's not up to me, and we're not banking on that happening for us to be successful. I see us being successful on our own, and if Jake wants to support that, then that'll just be the cherry on top that'll really help us out. But as is, it's not necessary. It would just be an awesome bonus, but whether it happens or not, we're still gonna come out swinging, and we are gonna get definitely a piece of that pie.
I like your answers, man. This is pretty good. So probably let's jump a little bit. I don't know, plan A. Do we have any questions so far? Are people wants to come up and with some questions, or is there something I've missed up to now which I should cover? Because I think we have covered the biggest part so far.
Yes, I think you definitely have done a very good job covering, you and Helios covering the ground so far. I think, yes, it is a good time to call people up to ask questions. And so I would say, I mean, if anyone has any question, please feel free, send a request and we'll call you up. I think in the meantime, I will ask Helios this, and I think Mike, I know you covered it in your interview. Now, can I just ask the general question: are there any admin keys? And if there are, can you explain how that works? And you probably would need to touch the DAO as a result. But yes, over to you.
Yes, there are admin keys that can control the flow and the rate of our buy and burn, the same as TitanX has. And then there's also the investment pool side. The investment pool will eventually be smart contracts, but we can't build those smart contracts until the DAO decides on a strategy. So until then, it's just in a multi-signature wallet that will have time locks on it. And then once the DAO has decided on an investment strategy, we will then immediately start building a smart contract that interacts with the chosen coin and the investment strategy so that it's all trustless and automated. And then they will, as ETH drips from the treasury, it'll go straight into this new smart contract that will automatically run its functions and then automatically feed the staking pool and the buy and burn pools. And by automatically, I mean it's public user functions. Anybody can call the functions to claim the ETH from the treasury and distribute them and all those. And they're rewarded a small percentage fee for their participation in it. What I would like to see is lots of people in governance of HLX. I'd like to see a community grow around that, and then have some key community members that really stand out. And at a certain point, I can distribute keys to Helios to these community members, and then it can be a truly DAO governed protocol where I do have, in that scenario, I would have a key, but one key wouldn't be enough to make changes. You would need approval from the, quote, council or committee, whatever you want to call it. And in that case, I think that would be the most decentralized as possible. Because I think that admin keys are necessary in some features like the buy and burn. We could have implemented a smart contract that automatically changes the flow rate depending on certain variables. But ultimately, I think human interaction is the key there. I think humans will be able to decide in the future, a year or 2 years down the road, we don't really know what the ecosystem is going to look like. And so we can, as a community, decide, okay, 2 years down the road, we've got a massive pool. We can start leaking more into the buy and burn. And then as a community, we can decide that and change it as opposed to relying on code.
Yeah, I mean, so even advanced machine learning, it would need time to learn. Even if you're running AI to get some kind of algorithm to run a buy and burn, that's what people, I think, they don't understand. They're like, just like renounce those functions but you'd have to set it uber conservative if you did that, or else it could get drained. And there's many things like maybe people don't understand. But even for machine learning to have an AI running that part of the function, like it would take time,
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like the DAO is where Helios is going to be super strong. And that's the same thing with our investments. We don't know what's going to be hot 5 years down the road. But in 5 years down the road, we can make that decision as a DAO and make better investments with that ETH that we've got to help the ecosystem. And having the DAO involved eliminates the fear factor of we've got random dude with keys to $100 million contracts.
Yeah, and I just think these DAOs, you know, if they're properly implemented, you know, because this is another thing that, you know, I've seen before, and it's called, you know, decentralized, you know, whatever. But you know, obviously, then if it's run simply by, you know, votes count by the most tokens you have, then, you know, you just got whales running it anyway. So these are really complex sort of things, and you know, but yeah, man, kudos to you. I think it's a great idea from my standpoint. Really like the idea of the DAOs, and especially the more balanced they are, and you know, there's it's really cool, man. Good, and these and you guys, I mean, like these guys don't work for free. I mean, it's very impressive to me, and it's like, you know, these guys are showing their faces and stuff. Like, it's very impressive to me to have, like, I've already, you guys already know, my wife's a dev and she's done blockchain, but she's out of blockchain right now. But it's very impressive to have this many, you know, quality humans and people that are, you know, semi-doxing themselves. And yeah, man, respect to you, bro. Good work.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I think Zeba is up.
Yeah, hello.
Good.
Hey,
Hello.
Plan A. Thanks a lot, Plan A. Hey, dude, this is James. So I'm in your Telegram, James CGU. You'll probably know me as. I was just thinking here when you were talking about kind of the numbers there with the H rank. Did you run? I mean, I think your team is a pretty analytical team, just from how you speak. Did you run some simulations on, you know, kind of uptake, how many people come in the first day, the first week, the first month, and kind of the ebbs and flows? Did you run any simulations you could talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the simulations were based off of TitanX, because now that we've seen it running for 100 days, we can kind of see all the stats, how much is in the buy and burn, how much you know, is going to the staking rewards, and how much are they earning off of their T rank bonus. And so, like I mentioned earlier, and even Jake, you know, admits that the T rank bonus kind of got out of control. So I absolutely dialed the rewards back quite a bit, about half. And to me, that's where, like, even at half, we're still going to see massive rewards for people, but not quite as, it won't add too much to the supply on the market. You know, so, but yeah, absolutely. There were, I've spent many a days on Excel with spreadsheets and running all these numbers, and oh my gosh, I'm ready to launch this and just let it run, as opposed to all of the number crunching that I've been doing. Also, I really appreciate the support. This guy has been in the Helios Telegram from day one, and has really shown his support and love. And it's people like him that just really add to the community and help us spread awareness and become the behemoth that we intend on being. So thank you again, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that answer. I got booted out for 30 seconds, but I kind of picked it up at the end. So yeah, appreciate it.
Great. So any further questions, James, as we wait for others to, anyone else who has a question to come up?
Well, maybe because of all this interest in the number 420, is there any kind of metric that needs to be met before there's a 420 party? And where would that be located?
Oh, that's going to have to be decided by the DAO. You know,
Push
there-
everything to the Dow. Okay, push everything to the Dow.
Yeah, we'll leave it with that. I don't know. To me, every day is a 420. You know, so
Mhm.
when the 420 pool pays out, that'll be like the 420 of 420s.
Dude,
Gotcha.
dude, where's my car?
Dude, where's my HLX?
Good. Any other questions? I mean, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to come up. Helios, I'm going to ask really going back to the DAO here. How is that going to be set up? Are you looking at setting it up legally, or just having it as an informal setup to start off with? Given, of course, that you will be giving out, you're looking at having a multi-sig arrangement here. I just wondered whether you're going to be formalizing that in sort of a legal setup or not. What are your thoughts or ideas on that?
Yeah, it'll be a hacky sack circle. You know that. No, I'm just kidding. We're using Snapshot, which I think, unless somebody can point out a better tool than that I don't know of, I think Snapshot will do the job, and we can build our Helios page on Snapshot. And as far as the DAO governance goes, I still haven't exactly worked out the final setup, but I feel like it's not just HLX holders that are going to have votes. I think the max stakers and miners should have more of a say because they're using the system and they are more invested in the system than just some whale that wants to participate in a vote. They buy a bunch of HLX, vote, and then dump their HLX afterwards. I think to prevent that, we can weight this more heavily on actual users of the ecosystem. But yeah, and I think Snapshot will do the job. And like I said, if anybody else has better ideas, that's one thing that I'm always asking for is feedback on all of these things. I want this to be as community driven as possible, as trustless as possible. Yeah, with that fair launch, I mean, I'm going to be just like everybody else, on day one trying to start miners. And there's no, I'm not just minting a bunch of tokens for myself or anything like that.
Great. We're still waiting for others to join, but I do have another question. Of course, TitanX has an inbuilt incentive system for developers, for those of us who are new here. So, of course, this is a system that gives developers and builders incentives to build. I wouldn't be going into the detail of that apart from saying just it's, I think if you go into sort of look at the white paper of TitanX, it says about 8% is what developers can get. 8% of all TitanX that are sort of burned in connection to the protocol. Now, I would like to ask the Helios team, how much are they keeping as an incentive? How much of the TitanX given as incentives are they keeping? So that, of course, everyone is aware of that. So please, Helios, please explain how you will get, your incentives and the thoughts around that.
Yeah, there's Genesis gets 2% of all the TitanX from miners, and that's I believe a very modest fee. And as far as the treasury goes, we're not taking any percentage of treasury rewards or the investment pool rewards. The entire ecosystem, to me, the more percent that I take out for me means less for the ecosystem. And I wholeheartedly believe in this protocol and that it's going to succeed on its own. And so I think 2% will be plenty in the long run for me. And that'll help us with the additional development, obviously, too, because we're going to continuously build on top of this. There's going to be multiple treasuries that need smart contracts built for this, and marketing, all those types of things. And yeah, there's like I mentioned earlier, if any burning of TitanX on our protocol, we felt like splitting that with the user was the best way to go. So with that 8% cashback reward, anybody that is burning TitanX, we'll split that with them, 4% for the user and 4% for us. Other than that, there's no other fees. And then yeah, there's also we really like the build on TitanX incentive. I think that's amazing, and that's what draws so many more people to the ecosystem to build on it, is that incentive. So we're offering that same setup to builders on top of Helios. And there's a function that other protocols can use to earn HLX, and they can get up to 8% of that in cashback. And then, obviously share that with the users how they deem necessary.
Great. Thanks for that. I think repetition is really the name of the game here, and you have done very well at communicating what you intend to achieve with Helios. And so I will say kudos again for all that you've done so far, and we're definitely looking at what you would be delivering in the future. And so post launch, we would be looking at a follow-up discussion as well. So, and I think on that note, therefore, I will ask, when do you intend to launch? First of all, how many audits? What's the status of your audits? And when do you anticipate to launch Helios?
And then I have a question after that.
Yeah, we are intending to launch as soon as possible. If I could have launched yesterday, I would have. And right now we are finishing up the first audit that should be completed today, but I have not heard back from him yet. But so he's completed the audit, gave us a small list of fixes that needed to fix. It took us just one day to knock those things out and return them back to him. And they were all, I would consider, small changes, so it shouldn't take much for him to approve everything. And then I've got our second auditor lined up to start next week, and he's going to need, I would assume, a full week to do that. So we're looking at, a mid-February launch. Really, as soon as I feel confident the second audit is getting completed, we can immediately throw out a launch date, and I'm telling everybody mid-February to be ready for it, because I'm imagining when we give an actual date, it's going to be when I'm sure we're ready to launch on that date. And it's going to be probably about 3 or 4 days advance notice. So definitely keep an eye out for us. Follow us on Twitter and join our Telegram. We will be shouting from the rooftops our launch date, because that's what I'm most excited about. I'm enjoying all these talks about the theoreticals of it, but once it launches and then we can go over the Dune analytics of Helios, that's going to be what's most exciting to me. And going over the number of miners that have started, how much is going into circulation, how many millions of dollars is in our burn pool, the treasury, how, that's another big question everybody has, is how big is their treasury going to get? All those things I'm super excited to see in action.
It's great. Mike? That's really good, Helios, by the way. So really good. And we're looking forward to what Helios will do as well, as mentioned earlier. Mike? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to jump in, I didn't mention our auditors. We are going with 2 auditors that have both audited TitanX. So these are high-profile auditors that are already familiar with the TitanX ecosystem and all the mechanics. So I thought they were the best fit to audit Helios. And I don't think anybody will be disappointed with the route that we took on that. But yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think one thing which is somewhat new to me now, or either I missed it on Friday. I'm sorry about that. But if you mentioned earlier regarding building on top of Helios, there's going to be very similar incentive as TitanX. Could you go into that as well? Because I'm not so sure if Friday either you misunderstood me or maybe you mentioned it and I actually forgot completely. So is that true? You can build on top of HLX as well, or Helios?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, like I said, there's the built-in burn cashback function to where anybody can call it and receive 8% cashback reward on that. And then we also have the same bonus for mining. So if you burn HLX, the next time you start a HLX miner, there will be a bonus for the lifetime of that wallet to incentivize it. We haven't really spoke too much on it because I feel like the whole I'm not trying to add to the complexity of it. I'd like to keep it simple and let people just understand what we're here to bring as a product. But 100% we intend on continued development and building additional use cases for Helios immediately after launch. We're not taking a break. There's so many ideas and things to build off of that I just want to go straight into it. But I haven't really spoke too much about it just because I just want to get through to the launch day first and have everybody understand what we're trying to do as is. And then the second we launch, we can start working on research and development of additional use cases. And most of that I intend on building use cases that does not incorporate our stake pool. I really want to avoid trying to dilute our own stake pool with additional use cases.
Understand, yeah. I mean, from what I'm hearing so far, I think you're really running with the fair launch ethos, which is transparency and definitely like the security aspect of it, which is also very important. And yeah, shout out to you. From what I'm hearing so far, it has been pretty very transparent, and I think this is exactly what we want, right? Everybody should have at least a fair chance on that first day. And as you mentioned yourself, is like you're gonna be shouting that date, and I'll be shouting it too, so that people who want to participate can participate, and they have a equal chance of getting the same cost basis as the founder himself or the creator himself. So shout out to you.
Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? And if not, we will be moving on. I think we're now coming up to the 1.5 hour mark. So please, good. Okay, I think we've got someone. But please feel free. Let's ask these questions. This is really an opportunity to have the level of interaction that is not possible during a YouTube interview, and that's one of the advantages of these spaces, is that we can have more of an interactive session. Mofo.
Hey, I had a question about something just stated. Is there going to be like a block for the stakers So, like, say a DragonX isn't on Helios, so just don't end up kind of getting burned eventually in the future. Because I know some of the community feels a little bit like they got stuck in the staking and Dragon. Is there going to be something to prevent that for the stakers in Helios?
Well, the thing is I believe in decentralization and permissionless systems, and that's what Helios will be. Anybody that has HLX in their wallet are free to do whatever they want with it. And that goes the same with our protocol. It's deployed on the public blockchain, and anybody is free to build around that as they want. So if DragonX wants to build a DragonX on top of our platform, there's nothing we can do about it. And in my opinion, it's not bad. Anybody building on top of the platform just adds additional demand for the token, which is just good for everybody. And then as far as like,
yeah, I understand. I just caught that when you said you were trying to protect the staking pool from being diluted. That's why I was wondering what you're getting at with that.
I'm talking about additional protocols that I myself put out there, because like I said, I've already got layer 3 ideas, and those ideas don't revolve around pulling in HLX and staking it. You know, I think there's other ways that we can use the token that doesn't involve staking it and keeping others available for that. But like I said, I can't stop others from building on top of it, and I encourage others to build on top of it. And
oh, definitely. I was just curious what you meant by the protection.
yeah, no, there's nothing built into it. It's I myself just don't intend on adding to it. And all the people that are worried about the TitanX solution, I'm one of those guys that have got a 3,500 day stake, and I'm not worried about it. I know it's getting diluted, but in the end, I'm going to get 100% plus returns on it, and still get, I'm gonna force to diamond hand TitanX for 10 years. And that's still going to get returned to me at the end of that. And, what's the price of TitanX going to be then? No telling. And also, our staking pool, we've reduced it down to a max of 830 days. So even if you do a max stake, and then halfway through that, DragonX comes out and takes over our stake pool or any other of these protocols, you're not locked in quite as bad, and you can get out at an earlier rate.
Oh, it's definitely a good plan. Yeah, there's no problem with DragonX. It's the best thing for the community in the long run. A lot of people don't understand that and what it's really doing. So I was just curious on that question. I wanted to say I think you're like funny as hell with it's a 420 every day and the hacky sack party. But it's just like, dude. All right, man. I appreciate it. I was just getting some insight on that, but you were cracking me up earlier. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. And I like to keep it lighthearted. This is a serious thing. There's money involved, but at the same time, we've got to have fun. We've got to enjoy ourselves. And that's what I'm about. Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good one. I'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks again.
Yes, thanks, Mofo. Helios, thank you as well. Do you have any other remarks? Any sort of closing remarks before we we move on to the next segment, which would be, I think, pretty much wrapping up. But yes, before we do that, please feel free. Any closing remarks?
Sure. Just please follow us on Twitter and join our Telegram and get involved. That's the main thing that I want to push awareness to people, is that we are a community, and we need the community to come out and help steer this in the direction that that's best for the community. So yeah, come check us out. All the links are in the bio.
Excellent. Thank you. And post lunch, as mentioned earlier, I think we will be having further discussions. We'll see how HELIOS behaves. I am looking forward to HELIOS. I think for those who missed the beginning of TitanX. Sorry about that, Richie. Yeah, okay, good. So
Sorry about that.
no problem. For those who missed the beginnings of TitanX, I think this is another opportunity. Again, do your own research, not financial advice, and it goes without saying that nothing that has transpired here today constitutes financial advice. I think we should all do our own research. But yes, I think this one is definitely one to keep an eye on. Great. Okay, so again, if anybody has any sort of general remarks, we're moving on to our sort of next segment, and it's an open mic. So any remarks generally or specifically addressing any particular subject, this is an opportunity to do so. So, yeah. Richie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing about all this too, and I know Marco the Hexagon said it, and I don't know why I feel that I need to, but I just do want to say this. JakeX coin, I put $200 in it. It's fun. I told you it's boring right now in crypto. I put $200 in it. So don't be dumb about this stuff. Like, right, alien coins, whatever you want to do. I mean, people do what they do, but the most important thing I want to say about it is, I don't know anything about any of these projects, bro. So like Marco talked about this, and I want to say it. Nobody's giving me I don't need their money, first of all. Second of all, no one's giving me any coins, any money to endorse or do anything with anything. I don't even think half these people like me, to be honest with you. But I haven't talked to any of these guys. Dude, I've never talked to any of these people. Jake, I've never talked to. And when I first started on TitanX, I sent him a couple DMs. He never even looked at them. So I've never talked to Jake. The only people I've talked, I talked to people here though, Mike, Plan A, Mo, I've talked to on the phone, Jeff, Crypto Kindness, I've talked to on the phone. Like, I mean, I talked to people, Eric from DragonX. After all that, I talked to him on one of the platforms. What is that called, Bib? When you, Telegram. No, you see people in real life, Zoom. But I mean, none of these people have given me anything. I just want to make that clear. So I just woke up this morning just like everyone else, and I saw, oh, what a cute meme. This is funny. You know, I never really buy meme coins too much, but I put $200 in it. So just don't be dumb. Nobody gave me anything. I'm not ever going to take anything from anyone. I don't know any of these people with these projects. So I don't know why, I just want to put that out there, because I know somebody will say, look at him, he went and pumped that coin, JakeX. Well, I put $200 in it, bro, and I did it this morning. I got in late. I don't really know much about meme coins. I guess I was exit liquidity for my $200, but like whatever, I'm good on it. So I hope everybody understands that. I didn't have anything to do with. And I won't have anything to do with any projects. One last thing I'm going to say, I won't have anything to do with any of these projects, like as far as my money or time or any of that kind of thing behind the scenes. I don't get on Telegram, and I just want to make that clear, because one of the biggest things, I don't want anyone saying that I was endorsing like some product other than just I saw it and liked it. This morning, I bought the JakeX coin, you know, and I guess apparently I don't know much about meme coins, but apparently I was late on it. And so now everyone's dumping on my head. So that's cool. You can have my $200. I'm not mad.
Great, thanks, Rich, and you're absolutely right. I think the same goes for us. I think all of us, I'll say, any conflict of interest issues should be disclosed. So if we're participating in a coin, as in either being a founder or a key participant, and we're shilling that coin, I think we should know we should know better to disclose. Definitely. Great. We've got Chicks. I think I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly, but it's Chicks 28. Please feel free. The floor is yours. You're on mute, just in case you're not aware. Okay, sort of exiting. Must be having some technical issues. Anyway, any other comments following on from Richie's?
I think
Yeah, it'd be great to. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this is also one of the big things, right? I mean, obviously, for me, I interview the people, and yeah, I have to look into the protocol, and I read the white paper and everything. I mean, it's a very simple manner, which is we have the fair launch, guys, and that's pretty much it. Like a fair launch is basically Helios or Dude cannot give me any information in the background, which will somewhat make me get more coins or anything, or he cannot give me more coins or anything of that sort. So that's why it's like I started off with the ethos of fair launch, because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, there is a date whereby everybody can participate and everybody has the fair chance of getting at least well, I mean, there's a fair chance in some ways, right? I mean, the distribution model, for instance, you can see what DragonX did, and probably similar what TitanX market is going to do. It's way obviously very shorter time, and the deflation is quite steep for 17 days. But nevertheless, we know what the distribution model is, and anybody can participate if they wish to do so. So I think it's yeah, let's just keep it that way. That would be the best, the easiest one, because I don't want to have another job of I mean, I'm also running TitanXsub.com, and like I mean, already I have a day job, and now with TitanX, obviously this is like my second day job. But yeah, so it's like if we just keep it to fair launches, it's just going to be very easy for everybody. And
Yeah,
I'm going to argue stuff on the technical basis, and like I'm looking at the code and how things were launched, and then it's even I don't want to say too much now how some of these launches can be done, but I think we all know in a lot of projects. I think one of the projects was not too long ago, like few weeks or probably few days, few weeks, I think. Was it like some Bitcoin project? I forgot the exact name of it. And you saw all the influencers got the allocations before the public, and people were just like, the influencers were just dumping on them. I mean, that's why we have fair launches, guys. I mean, that's exactly it. They can do that, basically. So anyway, probably I'm hopping on too much on this thing, but yeah, just do fair launches, and then we have it very easy for everybody, I think.
yeah. I mean, I don't think you can harp too much on it, and I really hope people understand that. And I think that some of these people that are doing and stuff, I know Jeff and like Smooth and Crypto, and I hope everyone who's involved here will disclose if somebody did give them some kind of tokens behind the scenes or something of that nature, because the last thing we really need here is for something shady to go on like that. You know what I mean? Because that is the ethos, and one of the reasons why I'm involved in this, is because it was, a fair launch and people have a fair shot. But I guess, I mean, now people are saying about this meme coin, it's something about that they did a stealth launch, and stealth launches aren't really fair launch. And I mean, I think you're really splitting hairs. And second of all, like, it's a meme coin. I thought, like, I mean, I guess, man, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not hip on it, but like, people take this shit seriously, bro. And I'm like, I put $200 in it, I probably won't ever check the chart again. I don't know. So I mean, be careful out there. So anyway, the fair launch thing. But the other thing is, man, and I'll just say it again, and I love what I love about this community too is that. Oh, before I go any further, can please TitanX, Stacker, some of you people, can you raise your hand and speak, because like we talk a lot and we want to hear from you guys. So I mean, even if it's like, hey, my name is so and so and I like TitanX, it'd be good to hear from other people, because this is a community thing, right? We're not just up here like talking and talking. Like, you guys matter and everything like that. So raise your hand or maybe I'll just start like making people speakers and you can talk. That'd be really cool. But the other thing is diversification. And that's what I like about this community too, is that people do talk about diversification a lot, and people talk about other tokens and other coins. Chiz,
I don't know if you can hear me.
yeah, I can hear you. Mute yourself, and I'll finish what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, you can mute him. Yeah, and okay. When he figures it out, we'll get him back on. But it would be good to hear from some other people. So send a request or whatnot. So the other thing I want to say is that everyone can talk about their other coins and stuff like that, and that's cool. And if I say some shit and talking my shit, that's just me, man. Like, you know, buy the alien coin, do whatever you want, like whatever. I'm not even gonna get into all that. But the point I'm trying to make is diversify, and I love that about this community, that no one's gonna go ballistic on you because you say diversify, you know. And I like being involved in this community, but you know, and it may be a surprise or it may not, but like my allocated amount that I'm going to spend on crypto, 10% of it is in TitanX. So I'm just going to tell you that right up front. So 10% of my allocated, not funds that I have in crypto, not funds that I have in real life, allocated funds this cycle that I want to spend on crypto, 10% of it is in TitanX. So I'm just going to tell you that a lot of it is in ICP and then some other straggling things. Okay. And so I'm just going to say that because in Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Of course, because that's how I play the game in the position that I'm in, because I joke around and like this meme coin, right? I put $200 in it. Probably never check it again. But the other thing is then, you know, TitanX is a high risk, high reward play. So don't forget that also, you know. I believe in TitanX. I believe in what we're doing here, but just keep everything like balanced in your life. And I'm not saying you can't have more than that, right? Because everyone's doing their own thing. And so I'm just giving, and when I started this Twitter and started all this stuff, I've mentioned it before, that I started it, and it's maybe I didn't mention it right away, but it's just a journal, and we talked about it in the spaces that I did, and I didn't record it, but journaling is critical in life, right, and in trading. So, hey, Plan A, can you, Matt is requested. Can you give him a speaker? And then journaling is important, and I'm just going to hit on this real quick. And I came up with a whole like template for journaling about crypto, and you know, basically why am I buying the thing, what does the thing mean, you know, just different things like that, you know, whatever. I have my own template, but journaling about it, because we really keep in our mind a lot of times in crypto what we've gained and lost, and a lot of stuff's in our head, and sometimes it can keep you up at night if you're really kind of getting into it. And if you write it down, you'll have a better perspective, and you can go and review it and see what you did, and definitely tracking the moves that I made in crypto and things like that. So diversify, you know what I mean? Like I sleep good at night because, like I said, I put for example, the meme coin Jake X or whatever, you know, I put $200 in it. I can sleep at night, dude. You take my money. Like the 10% I put in TitanX, if it goes to zero, I can sleep with it. I put more in a coin that I thought was going to end up being a top 5 coin. So I can sleep at night, you know what I mean? And so whatever you're doing, like, you know, the biggest thing that I would say is that your mental health and your health is what matters here. Getting wealthy is good. But if we get wealthy and we have a heart attack, if we get wealthy but we're ruining the relationships around us, that's why I walk away from this for a few days and whatnot. You know, and we're ruining the relationships around us, or we're, you know, just sort of things like that. And I'm not trying to mansplain or be like I know everything, but you know, what matters is the real life and the human experience that we're having here, and our emotional state and stuff like that. And you know, I just want everyone to be healthy and well and not get wrecked and stuff like that. So much love to everybody out there. And to summate all that, you know, just diversify, you know, and just know who's who and what's what and what you're putting your money into and stuff like that.
Yeah, can I follow that up?
Yes, Chicks at 28, and then after you, Matt.
All right, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank dude from HELIOS. I really appreciate your attitude and skill and what you're building and how you're doing it. And what I like about not just Helios, but a lot of the builders who are the backbone of ecosystems, right? It's builders, Mike Dean, you're killing it. All the other builders who are building tools and then infrastructure. Like Helios is cool because it's a leverage play on TitanX. It seems like two like critical innovations. One is, you know, the investment pool, and one is the treasury. And so I like the infrastructure being built. The same thing with DragonX, killing it because it's like a core piece to, you know, to support TitanX long-term thing. So I just want to say, so that's cool. I think that the builders are reflecting the ethos that Jake has imprint on this project, which I think is amazing. And as someone who chooses projects based on leadership, you know, including in the community, you know, among the builders, you know, the meme world, so I just want to say, I learned from Luna, truly shit goes to zero, okay? And so when you hear people say, even Jake will say, look, this could go to zero. People are not fucking around. Like, so what I learned from Luna is it can go to zero. Now, that was a way higher risk play. And when we talk about, you know, alleviating risk and diversifying, I would say yes. And everyone's got to have their own strategy. And what I had decided this run, I was like, all right, I'm going to focus because I fortunately moved some profits from Luna into stable coins, and then got heavily into Richard Hart's ecosystem, Pulse Chain, blah, blah, blah. Once I saw Jake building what he was building, after following him for a few years, I just decided, I was like, all right, I'm focused on building my Ethereum bank because I see what's happening with Ethereum. And I'm really looking for one focused ecosystem that I could see thriving through this bull run. That's as far as I can see, honestly, because, you know, and so I was looking for one critical play that was a leverage play on Ethereum. So when Jake showed up, I was like, fuck, man, this is it. So yes, it's a relatively high risk play because, you know, anything new, any startup is high risk. And yet, in my mind, it's relatively low risk based on the fair launch, the fundamentals of security and builder compensation. Like freaking Jake has created a quantum opportunity here, in my humble opinion. And part of the reason why the community is continuing to grow and isn't toxic, and I'm going to say yet, because every single, pardon the language, fucking community becomes toxic eventually, unless there's like mechanisms to clear that shit out. And typically these communities reflect leaders at all, which is why what Jake has done is fucking empower builders and community to participate. So anyway, I like where we're at. Helios, I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing. You know, right now, what I'm thinking is, okay, I'm fortunate. I got in day one and TitanX, and I have my strategy and it's working, blah, blah, blah. And I have to stay at, and now my question is, how do I allocate, you know, between all these killer infrastructure projects without overextending myself? So anyway, I'm done. Thanks so much.
That's the game theory that I love about it, is there's so many different options you can do, and the strategies are never ending, and everybody's going to have their own risk appetite and how they want to participate. But yeah, thanks for adding to that. That's great.
Yes, Chicks 28, that's very well said. I think the entire DeFi really is an experiment. and therefore high risk. But as far as risk mitigation and risk management is concerned, I haven't seen anybody else do it as good as TitanX, and I'm talking about the various risks. So I think that the obvious ones will be, say, your legal regulatory risks that beset this entire ecosystem. We have here a great balance between builders being able to build and rewarded, and taking care of the legal and regulatory risk that we've seen with ICOs, the sacrifices of this world, the pre-allocation of tokens. That has really been taken care of, and so the risk is really low on that front. And of course, even beyond being kind of running risk of being classified as a security, particularly by the US regulators, you have the risk of theft, really outright just theft of public funds. I mean, there's no other way. We might be able to couch it in terms of rugged or whatever other term, but long and short of it is really theft of public funds. And so risks have really been mitigated in a big way with respect to TitanX, and I think we definitely need to get the word out somehow. And I think once the foundation is laid, and I think we are in that process of doing that, we would have to get to that stage. Definitely. I think those beyond the TitanX community would have to understand this opportunity is there. And well, there'll be more on this later on, by the way. But Mark, please, yes. Thanks for being patient.
No, you're good. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good morning, guys. I'm blessed to be a part of this community, like always. And then, I just wanted to touch on a couple different topics, but before I leave, But I came in a little late. I came in a little hour late. I was just wondering if so I can ask directly, if Helios, if you could tell me like your elevator pitch, like if you were to just describe your project real quick, like an elevator pitch, just so I can hear it from you directly, and I don't have to hear it from somebody else.
Well, for you that's already in TitanX and understand the mechanics, the elevator pitch would be simply, if you like TitanX and all of the game theory that it brings, you'll love Helios, because we have the same game theory mechanics with the added treasury and investment pool, which helps bring more value into our ecosystem regardless of miners. We will have a buy and burn pool that is perpetually supplied by TitanX staking and a diversified portfolio. Basically making mining great again. It's you get confidence in mining with knowing that the buy and burn pool is fueled by 3 separate sources: the mining, the treasury, and the investment pool. So this will be much more of a consistent ride.
Yes, sir. There you go. That's what I like to hear. All right. So, I always like to tell the story, like, hearing that from you directly, it makes me more bullish. So I'll make sure I'll be 100% sure to take part of the protocol. But, just always telling my story, like, just November, it's so crazy. From November, bro, I was dead broke, $0. You know what I'm saying? And to flip it 360, I have almost 20 billion TitanX. Like, it's not a lot for some people, but for me, it's a good start in my journey. You know what I'm saying? And when Richie was talking about diversification, I'm looking forward to 2 protocols coming out, in the very near future. Of course, number 1 is Hyper. Of course, everyone's looking forward to Hyper, but in another community, they just released a launch date on February 22. Drip community is releasing a token called DragonX. And I know, I don't want to give no financial advice or nothing, but all it should be, all profits should be rolled over to the community, towards our community, the main community, keep TitanX the main thing. And, when DragonX comes out, it's not a direct fork of, I just wanted to give because there's like 40, 50 people in here, so I don't know if anyone has heard about it, but it's going to be like almost a direct fork of TitanX. It's not really, you know, they do their own code, but it's the same thing. You're using, instead of Ethereum, is BNB. And you know, I don't want to give no financial advice, but if you're willing to take the risk and be able to use your BNB to mine for drip and you know, take over all that profit and roll over to TitanX, that's, you know, that's not financial advice. This is what I'm doing. But I noticed when, like, I heard a crypto connoisseur, he tweeted this out. He said that, you know, like, TitanX is amazing because, you know, the tokenomics is the best tokenomics, good founder. You know, like, we have, quote unquote, like a cult-like community. We have one of the best communities I've seen. You know, I've been in other cryptos, ZK Swap, Arion Network, you know, GFL, all these communities. You know, they're just like, they're weak. You know what I'm saying? They're nothing like us, bro. They're weak ass communities who, like, they're not strong. They don't have people texting about it every day. People talking about their gains. Like, I never seen that in all these other cryptos. So that's why I'm really bullish on TitanX. And all these builders building on it. I go on any other crypto, bro. I don't see no other crypto that has any builders on it. Like, it's just the main crypto. People just buy it on the DEX, and that's it. Like, what else? All the BNBs. We have a bunch of buy and burns, like, especially HELIOS. You can consider it as another buy and burn, basically. But if you said it's for mining, you know, I'm gonna have to take part in that. I'm gonna have to take part in that. But yeah, I just wanted to give a heads up to you guys. The hyper might be coming out soon, so, you know, just be ready. Don't be there. Be there. Don't be square. You know what I'm saying? And then also, Drip is launching a kind of a derivative of, like, they got a lot of inspiration from TitanX. And if you were in TitanX in day one, I got in around day 30. So I was still able to make around a 4 to 5x ROI. And if you were to get on DripX on day one, you know, the potential is there. You know, there's a lot of I'm on the Telegram. They have already like 2,500 members on the Telegram, but there's a couple of TitanX people that I've seen in the DripX community already, you know, and they're already promoting it. So it's like, you know, don't fix what's not broken. Like, it's already, you know, they have a lot of TitanX community people already, so might as well hop in and just give it a chance.
Yeah. Matt, I think we hear you on that. I think I would just need to add everyone would have to make their own decisions on that. Of course, that goes without saying, and do their own research. So I think we did mention that earlier. Actually, it isn't. We're not making any recommendations, and definitely third-party projects that are not you know, TitanX focused don't have priority really in these spaces. But yeah, they can be mentioned in passing, but they clearly don't have any. They don't have priority. I will say we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, so we could sort of look at sort of wrapping up. I think a couple of people who wanted to speak. So Matt, thank you there. But a couple of people who wanted to speak. It seems I can't see them anymore. But in any case, I think we probably could now start wrapping up. And so, great. I'll suggest, Richie, if you have any closing remarks, please let's start with that. I can't see Mike.
Yeah.
I think Mike
I don't know,
but I think he probably could experience some technical issues because he definitely has the YouTube live, you know, on. So
you guys can hear
anyway, I'll say please, yes, kick off, and then if anybody else wants to start, so any closing remarks, please feel free. And yeah, we will most certainly you know, we'll close after closing remarks. Great. So Richie, over to you, and after you, Blockhead.
Yeah, so great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this thing is acting weird to kick Mike off, so I don't know what's going on today with the Twitter thing or X. Mike just requested if you can improve him. Excuse me. So yeah, I guess just summation of it all is you know, I think the biggest thing is that like always remember the things we said about diversification, all that kind of thing, and like lots of projects. So the most important thing, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, there's a reason I only put $200 into the meme coin, because I didn't see any audits or anything like that. So the thing about DripX or any of this other stuff or any of it, the reason why TitanX is so successful is because the time was taken to do audits. If it doesn't have audits, you know, and then BNB chain, I mean, it's I don't know, man, just be real careful, because, you know, they'll take all your money. And so, you know, diversification and also allocation of resources and stuff like that. Even if the thing is hard audited, the code is great, you know, now you have to have adoption. There's a lot of things that goes into this thing, right? And so just be safe out there, because, you know, desperation leads to a lot of problems. So just make sure that you're, you know, sleeping well. Those things matter, you know. Exercise, eat well, enjoy life, be happy, enjoy right where you're at, you know. And we're always, you know, I think sometimes trying to get somewhere, you know what I mean? And trying to, you know, do something. And it's like, you know, the best thing we can do is be right here, right now, and in the present, and enjoying who we are and where we're at right now, because we'll never be here again. You know what I'm saying? And we're all here right now on the spaces together, and just like, you know, wherever you are, there you are, you know, and this is where we're at. And so, you know, I learned to glory in, you know, exactly where I was at. And I think that helped a lot. You know, me and my wife, we lived in my truck when we met, and we were happy to live in the truck. You know, we looked at it in a miracle's a change in perspective or perception, right? And so we looked at it as that we were free. We were free. We didn't have a mortgage or a rent or anyone to answer to. And we just drove all over the continent. We drove the whole country of Mexico during COVID, living in a truck tent and just enjoying life. And, you know, people would say, hey, you were poor, but we enjoyed it. And we learned to be in the moment and enjoy where we were at. My wife wasn't a software developer yet, and stuff like that. And I was just starting to tattoo, and left nursing field, and you know, and those times were hard. I mean, you know, as crazy as it sounds, and we did it, but we enjoyed it. We had a fun time. And so, you know, you're in this moment and you're in this place. And I really think that, you know, it's very difficult to get to where we're trying to go. You know, you kind of can't get there from there. We can't go to this great wealth and it's going to make us happy, because wherever we're at, we're there, and whoever we are, we are. And so happiness, you know, as corny as it sounds, is within. And we have to, you know, be content with ourselves and our situation, and obviously dream, you know, because without a vision, people perish. You can't make it to somewhere you didn't trip and get, you know, become a champion. You trained and you figured it out. And that's why I always say the money you lose in crypto, if you lost money, you didn't lose money. You learned, if you learned something, that's that you paid for an education and stuff like that. So just take care of yourself, be well, be smart, don't overextend yourself, and just make sure that anything you mess around with is audited, and the founders are doxxed somewhat, and things like that, you know, and anything can happen. Don't and if stuff makes it to where you lose sleep over it, man, like, you really need to check out what you're doing right there. And you know, I do care about people. Most of all, I was a nurse for 17 years. I was an ER trauma nurse, a registered nurse. I mean, I jumped out of helicopters. I have spent a life helping people and doing things, and I care about people, right? I really do. I want people to be able to rest and be content. And when we overextend ourselves, we end up in a really hard spot. And I hope you guys hear me. And I want everyone to, I talk my shit, right? I do talk shit because I don't know why. I just do it sometimes. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not really, but I do talk my shit, but I do care, and I want people to be safe. So be safe out there. And if you can't sleep or it's stressing you out, something's not right there, right? And that's what I gotta say.
Great, thank you. Blockhead? Blockhead, can you hear me? You good. you. Yes, we can. Yes, a blockhead, absolutely. I mean, I think the great thing about this community, really, it's exemplary. I think, even at the best of times, it's a wild, wild west out in cryptosphere. What we have here is a community that can hold each other accountable, can hold builders accountable, and founders, as well as community members. That is worth its weight in gold. I think the fact that we have these interviews, we have these discussions with founders and builders who are prepared to be accountable, who are prepared to be responsive to the community, who are prepared to be prepared to be transparent. So you have the audits that are done openly and made available to the community, that are interrogated. We do have, of course, I think Mike Dean does a brilliant job at delving into the mechanics and the code of these various projects. And then so in effect, we're holding each other accountable and putting the community interest first. And so I think in the beginning, at the start of TitanX, I think if we recall, we always, I'd mentioned this a number of times, but it was something that was said. The growth of TitanX is what happens when a founder puts the community first. And so this is a community first project. And so that is why looking at the TitanX protocols, or the build on TitanX protocols, and to be frank with you, a community family atmosphere here gives us the opportunity to properly interrogate these projects before we even put our funds in there. And so it's something that we shouldn't take for granted. I think you look around the crypto community, there's really not, I don't know anywhere else or anything else where that has this level of engagement. And engagement on really a different level. So founders are very engaged. They're not just, you can see the quality of projects that founders are coming up with. Very technical, and they're putting in the real time to build these projects. This is not a bunch of meme coins that is simply dumped on top of a TitanX, not at all. There's a lot of thought going in here to pretty much solve the problem, the phenomenon that has beset DeFi and even the traditional world for a very long time, and that is inflation. How do you build a store of value and it's able to regulate inflation or control inflation so that the growth of the ecosystem is such that the overall value increases? Now, that is the battle that a lot of governments are waging on a day-to-day basis with trying to maintain the value of their currencies. And that is, of course, the battle that a lot of DeFi entities are waging as well. I think TitanX, it's still early days, but TitanX may have achieved a balance here that would be something that would be talked about for a long time. But let us watch the space, play our part, make sure we risk mitigate or mitigate our risks appropriately, keep engaged, make sure that we listen to what the founders and builders have to say about the projects that they're building. We have solid projects in terms of the first wave of projects that are being launched. You have DragonX, you've got Blaze that is going to come after Hyper. You have Hyper itself. You've got TitanX market. You got and then of course we've just heard from HELIOS, and there are a number of NFT projects. One of which is of Titan Legends that has launched. But long and short of it, you have solid projects that are dedicated to increasing the value of the overall ecosystem here. And we are still in the pre-bull market. So I think we definitely there's something here that we can really can help us reduce our risk within this ecosystem generally, and of course benefit ourselves and our families. So great. I wouldn't bore you anymore with with my yes, Mike, and yes, and I was coming on to you now, of course. Yes, Mike, your remarks before we wrap up. Thanks a lot, Mike. Those are wise words. Thank you. Helios, I think if you want to say something, before we round up, please, you have a minute or two to say it. But given that you're up, you do have the mic. So if you want to say anything in closing, please feel free.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for hosting this and getting the community together and making this talk happen.
It happened again.
It's a great thing. And every Sunday I'll be tuning in to keep up to date.
Anyhow, sorry
and
for
shout
that.
out to Mike
I might
Dean,
re-upload it. I'll see if that works.
Anybody new to the ecosystem, that should be the place that they start. And he puts a lot of time and effort into localizing all of that content to make it easy for people. So if you got a spare couple of dollars, he's accepting donations. That would help him greatly and I think, motivate him to continuously add and keep that up to date. So thanks. And then Richie B, of course, adding all of his insights. I appreciate you coming on here and adding value to the community as well. And as far as Helios goes, I think the main talking points today was fair launch, which we are striving our hardest to be as fair as possible with that launch. And that starts with awareness and letting people know and, check out the white paper. It's there. Get yourself familiarized with it before we even launch, and you can have, a fair idea of what to expect. And then again, security. We absolutely are having these audited by high-level auditors, and we take that very seriously as well. And then, diversifying. That was another talking point. And that's, I feel like that's the inspiration to the investment pool on Helios, is diversifying our assets and making this protocol even harder to kill. Just having that in our back pocket, it's going to stabilize the system extremely, I think, in my opinion. And of course, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own research. Please read the white paper and check it out. It's the same thing that Jake's said over and over with TitanX. You shouldn't participate without understanding fully what's going on, and Helios is no different. So, thanks again, and enjoy your Sunday.
Yes, thank you. Just a few, few more remarks. Please bear with me on this. But again, last week we talked about the entire ecosystem being turned into a massive workshop or building site. That is ongoing. We know that we're expecting at least 2 Build on TitanX projects to launch this month. We will continue with our Build on TitanX theme for the rest of the month. Next month, our theme will focus on both Build on TitanX and marketing. So we will be introducing that theme. I have some ideas, and I believe you will have some ideas as well here to contribute. So we kind of watch the space, as in the marketing theme. On this, we would be bringing to the table the level of dedication and, again, openness and, I hope, expertise that has characterized the behavior of the community at every stage of TitanX. So next month, we will continue with the Build on TitanX theme, but we're going to be introducing the marketing aspect. We need to get this project to go viral. We need to do that. And so let's start thinking about that. There are ideas that I'm sure that you will have that need to be vocalized and put down in a structured way. So kind of on that note, I will say, Mike, Richie, Helios, thank you so much for participating and making this such a great session. And thanks everyone for listening. As you know, that's very, very much appreciated. Have a great week ahead, and we'll do it again same time next week. Thank you. Thanks all. Take care.
All right, guys. Thank you everyone for listening. You didn't hear me early on, so sorry for that. I might re-record the whole thing and re-upload it again. Thank you, and have a great Sunday and great start of the week. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye. Talk to you soon.